Hello and welcome back. Today we look at those who vanished from the capital, London. If you have any information, all the contact details will be in the description. But let's head straight into our cases. Darren Tunstall was 20 years old when he disappeared from London on the 3rd of December 1992. Relatives were the last people to see him. Darren was described as being quite shy and loved his own company. He had been living with his parents and sister, but he didn't return home after he said he would be spending the weekend visiting friends. The police launched an investigation but found no suspicious circumstances surrounded him vanishing. In 2017, police issued a 25th anniversary missing person appeal with an artist's image of what he may look like now. In 2017, he would have been 45 years old. Darren's mother Anne said in 2017, Darren was very studious, quite shy and loved his own company. Last time I actually saw Darren was Wednesday, the 2nd of December, but I was admitted to hospital. That evening, Darren and his dad and his sister came to visit. On the Thursday evening, his dad and sister came to visit, but Darren wasn't there, and from that day to this day, we haven't seen him again. We miss him and love him so much. I would like to hear his voice. It's not important as long as I know he's okay. Please let me know you are okay because we love and miss you so much. It's gone on too long. Darren is 6'4" with size 15 feet. He loves spending time outdoors and was content in his own company. His dad Colin has said his son spent family holidays in Cornwall and Ireland and was familiar with that country and that area of the UK as well as London where he disappeared. Lana Purcell was 27 years old when she disappeared from Camden in North London in January 2011. She had a daughter called Megan, who was just 6 years old when her mother disappeared. Lana was reported missing to the police 5 days after she vanished. The investigation has followed up on a number of sightings from people who claim to have seen her in North London. At the time of her disappearance, she was involved in substances and worked as a lady of the night. The last confirmed sighting of her is believed to have been in or around the 17th of January 2011, and officers believe she may have been heading to the Soho area. Her father John said, "It's been awful. Every day I wake up with a knot in my belly and I struggle to get out of bed. Sometimes it's terrible. It's absolute hell." Durrell Cooper was 25 years old when he went missing on the 6th of July 2003 from Barnet in London. A few weeks earlier, he had told his mother he planned to disappear on his 26th birthday, warning her that he would disappear for 3, maybe 4 years, and that she wouldn't see or hear from him. He disappeared with nothing more than £430 in his savings, a passport in his back pocket, nothing else. He lived up to his word and walked out of his home and has never been seen since. He was renowned for his adventurous spirit. His mother said, "Having a missing son, I am out here on my own. I didn't know anyone else. You have to learn to love enough to accept the not knowing. That's the hardest part." She also said that her son travelled a lot. He had lived in Sydney and South Africa and became the UK snakeboard champion and 3rd in the world when he was about 19. She said it was very much a freelance life. He did a lot of modelling and tombstoning, diving into cliffs in the Channel Islands. He used to practice breakdancing on a stage with his friends. He was a high flyer, very outward, very good looking. Things started to get a little unstuck at the beginning of 2002. He suddenly started hallucinating. He had boundless energy and he couldn't sleep. One night he ran for miles looking for me. He was in a manic state and he'd got into his head that I had been harmed. He was sent to the hospital. In retrospect, we think his lifestyle had suddenly led to a condition known as bipolar. When he came out of hospital, he took out his savings and disappeared to Hawaii. 2 weeks later, he called his mother from San Francisco with no money, but he was alright. He was then brought back home. That Christmas, he vanished again. 3 weeks later, his mother got a phone call from a doctor in Paris. He had been found on a bridge dangerously close to falling or jumping. French doctors were concerned for his welfare, but he was adamant he had just been performing a stunt. His mum is cautious about blaming substances for his condition, but admits that they may have played a part. She said, "Because you have to be so physically fit with his sport, he was very clean living, but having said that, I think it could have been brought on by smoking something. He was never interested in substances. His condition might have happened anyway, but it might have been triggered by that." She also stated he was reluctant to take medication he was prescribed following what doctors described as a psychotic episode. She said there was no way he would take his medication unless he was in hospital. It would build up over a period of time and he would start to behave in a manic way. When he disappeared, it was his stepsister's 15th birthday. He left poetry, drawings and stories behind. His mum said that he was on a spiritual quest. He used to say the search for God is everything. What he did is very biblical in a way. You take your rod and your staff and you go out there. If you read about manic depression, the highs are fantastic, but you have visions. He wanted space. He found built up areas very claustrophobic. He just wanted to get out of the country. She believes he could be in Hawaii, as he often spoke about it, or he could be in a religious cult being very looked after. She said that India is the most likely place. Nobody would question him or expect anything of him, and he wouldn't have to take his medication. The family also said that him taking his own life was not on his agenda. He really wanted to live. A lot of his issues was that he wanted to live too much. The police have said there is nothing they can do. As he's an adult, he can come and go as he pleases. The last contact, they believe, is some emails that were sent home in 2012-2013, which are believed to have been sent from him. He's described as 5'10", stocky build with short blonde hair and blue eyes. The last thing his mother said is she just wants to know he's still on this planet. Iwona Kaminska was a Polish student who travelled to London to study and went missing just 4 days later. She had arrived in London on the 9th of July 2000 in order to see friends and improve her English. Despite it being her first time visiting the capital, she found a job very quickly at a Polish-owned business on King Street in Hammersmith. She began to lodge with a friend near the Arndale Centre in Wandsworth. On the 13th of July 2000, she was last seen on CCTV leaving for work, where she then spent the day packing drinking glasses before leaving at 5 p.m. She was due to meet her friend in Wandsworth at 7 p.m, and it's thought that her route home would have taken her from her workplace from the Hammersmith bus station, then to Wandsworth. Police had seen that in previous days she had taken the 220 bus to the Arndale Centre and was last seen wearing dark coloured trousers, black shoes and a dark green knee-length jacket. She was also carrying a small leather handbag containing only £20 in cash. She was described as white, 5'2", slim, with light brown shoulder-length hair. Her friend Monica, who was due to meet her to go shopping, contacted the police after she failed to appear. Met police officers made numerous appeals for information and went through 200 hours of CCTV footage, but failed to identify a suspect or a motive for her disappearance. In the days after she vanished, her father Jan, who was a rural farmer in Poland, flew to London to assist detectives with their inquiries. In an emotional plea, he said, "Please, if you can, let us know where you are. We are very worried about you. I came to England just to take you home." In 2016, a fresh appeal was launched for information on what would have been her 36th birthday, with Scotland Yard offering a £10,000 reward. Detectives revealed that they feared she had been kidnapped and had her life taken as she walked home. Neil Nortrop was born in Devon and was a fisherman and a father of 2. Neil was last seen in London on the 10th of June 2003. He had travelled to different areas of London to visit friends. His mum Pam last heard from her son, who was 32 at the time, in a phone call the following day. At the time of his disappearance, he was described as 5'11" with a muscular build, cropped fair hair, blue eyes and diamond studs in his teeth. He had several tattoos and a scar under his left eye. He was last seen driving a blue Ford Mondeo with the registration W568XBD. Christine Aguda has been missing from the Islington area of London since the 20th of February 2001. She was just 26 years old. At the time of her disappearance, she was thought to have no personal belongings with her. She was born in Kenya and had been living in the UK since 1996. She is described as 5'6" tall, slim build, dark eyes, and wears her hair in a brushback, shoulder-length style. Before her disappearance, she was working as a waitress, and she worked in several West End hotels. Ewen Bellingham went missing on the 30th of April 1993 when he was 27 years old. He was 5'10" with short brown hair and a slim build. He was last seen in Tooting. Raymond Scott went missing on the 16th of November 2001. He was 47 years old. He was a handyman from Stanmore and he has never been found. He left behind his wife Sandra and 4 children, Alan, Dean, Grant and Stacey. His work van was found 2 weeks later behind shops in Field End Road. His brother made an appeal to police to release CCTV footage that he believed was connected to his brother's disappearance. The fuzzy images were captured on CCTV at South Harrow tube station several months after Raymond vanished. His brother claims that they show a man making a menacing call to him several months after Raymond disappeared. The caller says either "you're nicked" or "you're next." The last reported sighting of Raymond was at 3 p.m. on the 16th of November 2001 by his brother Kenny at the house. This was Kenny's house that Raymond was working on. This next case is one that has literally zero information. There will be a few of these cases in this video, as there are in some of my previous videos. It's still important to highlight their cases, but there's no media presence and little to no information that the police has given. Loise Wanjiku disappeared when she was 63 years old from Greenwich in London on the 27th of February 2010, and this is literally all the information that is available. Jude Joseph was 34 years old when he went missing from Croydon on the 17th of January 2004. There has been no further information or updates. Louise Tume went missing in June 2005 when she was 18 years old. She was reported missing after leaving the care system and being set up in a flat in Darlington, Islington in London. Louise grew up in a very bad household where there was abuse from her father. She had 2 siblings, a brother with additional needs and a younger sister called Rebecca. As their mum became unable to look after the children, they ended up staying with their father before Louise was put into foster care. Just a year later, her 2 siblings were also taken into care. All 3 siblings were placed in different placements. Louise didn't like the care system and didn't have a positive experience. She would run away from group homes all the time. Every time she ran away, it was to see her mother. It's reported that on one occasion she confronted her father about the way he treated them. The siblings would sometimes see each other with their mother, but not very often. The last known contact from Louise was a call from a payphone to her younger sister Rebecca, who was at that point staying with foster family. On the call, Louise told her sister, "Becky, it's me. I'm okay." Rebecca didn't realise how important that call would be, as she wasn't aware that her sister Louise was even missing, as social services hadn't told her. Rebecca, Louise's younger sister, told a local newspaper, "The police said to me she was among the wrong sort of crowd and not very nice people. She was involved with different groups of dangerous, high-risk people. I think she has passed or was being held." On a podcast, Rebecca revealed that she had been given a suitcase belonging to Louise that had been found in Louise's flat. In it was a letter from Lee James. The letter was addressed to Louise and had been sent from Wormwood Scrubs in West London. It read, "I hope you are doing well and that you are staying away from London. I do not want you having anything to do with your old way of life." Rebecca also found a contact book in Louise's suitcase where the number for a restaurant had been written down. She said years ago when she was living at this flat, her family support worker had come out to see her and she had taken her to this restaurant. These guys were particularly not good men. Social services had told my family support worker they think they were trafficking young girls. Francisco Fernandez was 44 years old when he went missing from London on the 1st of March 2009. This is all the information released at this time. Simon Hickson was last seen cycling from his flat to his printing business in Red Lion Business Park in Tolworth on Thursday, the 9th of April 2009. Police told his family the 42-year-old used his passport to board a boat from Dover to France 3 weeks later, and his family have a hunch he may have gone to Italy, which he often visited. His younger sister, Annie Cook, said, "We wonder if he's even alive. It's not uncommon for middle-aged blokes to disappear, but actually we are a pretty normal family, and as far as we know there was no real reason to run from anything. It is out of character. He has an unbelievable network of friends, family, and is a very popular guy. If he has chosen a life somewhere else and he is happy, we just want to know that he is okay." May Ho was just 20 years old when she went missing from London on the 26th of January 2010. There is no further information. Elena Zhagorova was 38 years old when she went missing from London on the 21st of May 2008. She was born in Latvia on the 31st of January 1970 and relocated to London in 1991 in search of a better job. She is described as 5'5" with shoulder-length fair hair, and she could speak English very well. She had been working in the UK for 17 years by the time she disappeared. It was reported that she had returned to work at the beginning of May 2008 following a serious depression, and her return to employment had set off another spiral. The day before she went missing on the 21st of May, she had attended a doctor's appointment with her partner, which had not gone well. The following morning, she texted her partner to say, "All fine, darling. Look out for new things. Love, A. Kiss, kiss," which was the last time she would have contact with her loved ones. She had also travelled from her home in Tottenham into central London to collect her passport. At the time she arrived, she was told it wasn't ready and to come back in 3 hours, but she never returned. Her last known movements on that day is a friend spoke to her on the phone shortly afterwards and invited her round for dinner later that evening. At the time, she was walking around Hyde Park whilst waiting for her passport and said she'd consider the evening plan. She then took a tube back to Highgate Station, arriving at around 1:30 p.m. Police were able to detect that her last time she consulted her mobile phone was at 4:30 p.m. That's when the trail ended. She was near her doctor's surgery and near an allotment that she shared with her flatmates. After becoming concerned for her welfare, her partner contacted her friends in the morning of the 22nd of May after failing to receive a response to any text messages or phone calls. An investigation was launched and searches were undertaken of nearby woods and lakes, but her friends and family were unable to uncover more information about her final whereabouts. There were a few false sightings a few weeks later, but she has remained missing ever since. George Davis was 46 years old when he went missing from London on the 5th of July 2003. This is all the information that has been released to the public. Dilys Donnelly was 59 years old when she went missing from Stoke Newington in March 1986. She is described as 5'2", a white female, dark hair and green eyes. She has a tattoo on her arm and a scar on her nose. She's also known as Dee Dee, and she may have been using the surname Crawford. At the time she disappeared, she was living in Hackney in North London. Florian Richtzenhain was 24 years old when he went missing from London on the 31st of December 2005. Unfortunately, there is no further information like many others in this video. Barry Walsh was 31 years old when he was last seen on the 11th of April 2004 in Homerton. Recently, after he disappeared, there were 2 possible sightings of Barry, one in Buckinghamshire and the other by the Big Wheel in Manchester. He was described as 5'10" of slim build with brown hair. He also has a tattoo of a heart on his lower right arm. He was reported missing by his sister, and it is said that his sister and daughter miss him very, very much. Another case now with little to no information. David Venables was 68 years old when he went missing from London on the 29th of June 2007. Annette Francis-Chridi disappeared from her home on December 28, 2008. She was a mum of 2 and grandma of 3. Her disappearance was described as out of character, and despite numerous public appeals, she still remained missing. The 55-year-old disappeared after enjoying a few busy days of socialising with her friends and family over the Christmas holidays. She had recently spent some time on holiday also in Spain. She was due to move into a new property in New Malden with her husband, but she vanished without a trace. She was last seen by her husband at 10 a.m. on the 28th of December at a property on Vernon Avenue. She was wearing grey jogging bottoms and a fleece jacket. When he returned home from running errands 2 hours later, she had disappeared, taking only her handbag with her. Her mobile phone, clothes and toiletries were all left behind. Her family told the press at the time that it was out of character for her to run away and to leave all her belongings at home. Her daughter said that her mum had been quieter than usual over the Christmas period, but she would never intentionally bring stress upon her family. Over the previous year, Annette had been struggling to deal with an illness of a close family member. Her daughter said at the time she was maybe a little bit depressed after everything that has happened this year, but there have been other times that have been worse than this. I don't believe it's intentional because I don't think she would bring this stress on us. She just vanished into thin air. Following a new appeal by missing people, Annette's picture was featured on the side of milk cartons sold in local branches of Iceland. Despite this, the police and the charity failed to gather enough leads to determine what had happened. She remains missing. The next few cases are those that don't have a lot of information. Friday Igbinoba was 33 years old when he went missing from London on the 29th of June 2007. Clifford Bell was 42 years old when he went missing from London on the 18th of September 2006. Haydar Koyuncu was 37 when he went missing on the 4th of September 2007 from Middlesex, London. And Suresh Chander was 52 years old when he went missing from Hendon in London on the 15th of January 2007. Lisa Paul was 40 years old when she went missing on the 15th of January 2013. She was a mother of 3. The 40-year-old was last seen by her probation officer in Willesden Green in northwest London. She was reported missing the next week. Soon after her disappearance, the police literally had little to no leads. They knew that she would frequent the Camden and Brent areas and was staying in a flat in High Road near Kilburn, which was known to be frequented by substance users. After 10 years, the police changed her case from missing to a murder investigation, as there was literally no new leads and she never contacted her family and the children that she adored again. A reward of up to £20,000 is being offered for information that leads to the conviction of those responsible for her death. Peter McCaffrey went missing on the 1st of January 1981. He was 20 years old. He is described as white, male, with dark and wavy hair. The image was released by police and its age progressed to what Peter may look like at the age of 57. He went missing from Cricklewood. No one has ever seen or heard from him again. Shaune Jones disappeared on the 27th of June 2017 at a medical appointment in Eltham. At the time of his disappearance, the father and grandfather were suffering from severe mental health difficulties. The family made a statement saying, "We as his family have become concerned for his safety and would love to know he's safe and well. Shaune or anyone that may have seen him, we just want to know that you are okay. We love you and we miss you and we are here if you need us. If anyone has any information, no matter how small, please make contact in confidence." He is described as around 5'6" to 5'8", slightly larger build and covered in tattoos. He wears glasses and has severe scarring on his back. Akeem Fashogbon disappeared on the 1st of September 1998 from Fulham in London. He was 32 years old and has never been heard from or seen again. Robert Duff has been missing since the 12th of January 2013. He failed to attend his daughter's 18th birthday party. He was last seen on CCTV footage which showed him at an ATM outside Sainsbury's in Holloway Road on the 12th of January 2013. After family reported him missing, officers forced entry into his flat but couldn't find him. The police believe he may have got into an altercation on his way to his daughter's party. After 10 years, they changed the investigation from missing into a murder investigation. In May 2018, two men aged 70 and 51 were arrested on suspicion of murder in Archway and then questioned. They were later released with no further action to be taken. There hasn't been any movement in the case. The police had searched a local pond and conducted lots of investigations over the last few years, but the police said sadly it failed to provide any results. Fabio Vieira was 27 years old when he disappeared from northwest London on the 22nd of August 2015. Ian Bashar was 21 years old when he went missing from Thamesmead on the 20th of January 1988. Wilton, his father, was the last one to see him. He visited his son's flat just weeks later on the 16th of February, but no one answered the door to let him inside, so he let himself in. All of his son's possessions, including clothes, wallet and keys, were in the house, but the 21-year-old could not be found. His father immediately reported him missing, but despite numerous appeals for information, he has never been found. Police believe that he had been upset about something when he was last visited by his father, but it's unknown what was troubling him. Two unconfirmed sightings have been reported in northeast London, the most recent being in 2007. This sighting gave no movement to the case. The South East Missing Person Unit said, Ian's family have not seen him since the late 1980s, but time has not lessened their pain and worry. His parents sadly died without finding out what had happened to their son, and we are now trying our best to get answers for his sister. Thomas Ogunmayiwa was 55 years old when he disappeared from Camden on the 22nd of July 2016. Sandeep Sharma was last seen on the 9th of March 2018 at 9 p.m. at his home address in Hounslow in West London. His disappearance was very out of character and left his wife and family devastated. His wife said, "I miss him. Since my husband went missing, I feel very lonely." Unfortunately, there has been no further updates to his case. Jaime Stainton went missing when he was 36 years old from London. He has been missing since the 30th of April 2014. Stefania Malinici has not been seen by her family or friends since she left her home in Beccles Drive in Barking, East London on the 6th of September 2017. She was 37 years old and was working as a cleaner in the capital. The last sighting of her was on CCTV when she went into a shop on Green Lane in Ilford on the 9th of September 2017. Police believe she may have got on a bus at 10:14 p.m. from Wood Lane in Dagenham the next day on the 10th of September. Since then, the police have been unable to trace her. Her daughters said, "It has now been years without our mother. We have grown up without her and miss her every day. She would always bring support and love for anyone who needs it, even strangers, and she always tries to cheer people up. We appeal to the public for anyone to come forward if they know anything about her or her whereabouts." The Romanian mother is classed as vulnerable. She has not made any contact with her husband or children. She was last seen wearing a black top with dark tight jeans or leggings tucked into flat dark mid-calf length boots and a dark coloured 3/4 length fitted jacket. She also had reddish hair in a bob style at the time. Marek Kurka went missing in July 2014. It's known that he travelled by bicycle from Thornton Heath to Dover between the 1st of July and the 2nd. He was last seen in the Dover town centre on the 2nd of July. He is believed to be wearing yellow cycling shorts and a yellow jacket. He is of medium build, 5'10" with receding, greying hair. Jean Lamar went missing on the 5th of July 2012 from Balham in London. She was 57 years old at the time of her disappearance. Augustin St Helen has been missing since the 5th of September 2014. He was 81 years old when he vanished. He arrived in the UK from St Lucia at Gatwick Airport. On the 5th of September, he asked the friends he was travelling with to drop him near Lea Bridge Road in Leighton. He told friends he had made plans to be picked up near to Hackney border and has never been seen since. His family said that he hadn't even phoned home to say that he arrived safely in the UK. Inquiries were made by officers and indicated that he hasn't travelled beyond the UK. He is also known as Sydney. Detective Sergeant Jim Cross of the Hackney Missing Persons Unit said, Mr. St Helen's disappearance is completely out of character and has come as a huge shock to his family and friends. There have been no sightings of him since he disappeared. Jatinder Singh Nahor went missing on the 1st of June 2015 from Southall and was never seen again by his family. He is described as being of Asian appearance, 5'8", of medium build with greying black hair and a beard. His cousin said that he would usually wear a woolly hat. Carl Hodges was 33 years old when he went missing from Northwood on the 3rd of February 2016. His family released a statement saying, "Why and where are two frustrating questions for all in these troubled times. Maybe someone can answer them with facts. However, time is moving on for us all, and Carl's son needs to know answers to his inquisitive awareness." He's described as being white, 6 foot and of medium build. He had blonde, short, straight hair when he was last seen. He was last seen wearing a black and burgundy fleece, grey trousers, a red baseball cap and white trainers, but he may have had a change of clothes with him at the time. Mohammed Hamouda was 37 years old when he disappeared from Mitcham in London on the 27th of May 2015. Babtundi Adeyemi was 54 when he disappeared from Newham on the 7th of December 2016. He had been taken to hospital earlier that day after he was found collapsed in Fenchurch Street, central London. Doctors had diagnosed that he had a neurological problem but were unable to let him know, as when they went in to tell him he had left the hospital and has never been seen again. Keith Crawford went missing at the age of 38 from Peckham in London on the 13th of February 1993. Aaron Cato was 28 years old when he was last seen on the 18th of April 2019. He was seen being bundled into a dark-coloured BMW in Leigh Street in Ilford, East London, shortly after 4:30 a.m. His partner and mother to his 3 children and son said that he was a genuine family man. 7 men aged 25 to 39 were arrested on suspicion of kidnap, but were released under investigation. Police have also released the CCTV footage showing him being pushed to the ground by an unidentified man. He had left home to meet friends on the evening he vanished before calling his partner at midnight to tell her he loved them and he was coming home. She said the next morning she knew something was wrong when his phone was going to voicemail and he never came home and his family hadn't seen him either. There has been no movement in his case. Yan Wang went missing when she was 17 years old from Leighton in London on the 18th of February 2020. Nigel Griffiths was 42 years old when he went missing from Uxbridge, Greater London on the 12th of Feb 2009. He was born in Uxbridge and knew the area well. He worked as a courier driver. He had taken a 3-day holiday from work but did not return to work as expected. A few months before his disappearance, he had suffered a lot of financial problems. Days after his disappearance, Nigel's van was discovered at a car park in Cowley. His bank accounts have not been touched since he had gone missing. Akon Lawan Abalaji was 61 years old when he went missing from Bromley on the 13th of September 2018. Ioannis Okin Mopopoulos disappeared on the 18th of February 2020 at the age of 33. The Greek national left his flat with his phone and without saying goodbye to his girlfriend. The last footage of him showed him walking near shops in East London wearing just one shoe. When he didn't return home that evening, his girlfriend reported his disappearance to the police, who alerted their missing persons unit. After years of police work supported by the Missing People charity, the case still remains cold. Before he disappeared, it is said that he was struggling to adapt to life in the capital. His family and friends in Greece have not heard from him either. Matthew Grosvenor has been missing from Camden since the 16th of May 2019. He was 52 years old when he was last seen. Bernadette, originally from Ireland, vanished from a pub in Tooting on the 10th of January, and she has not been heard from since. She was visiting London to finalise her divorce and raise funds for her Irish bar called Molly Malone's near Malaga. Her bar was closed at the time as it was the Spanish Recession. She was 49 when she went missing, and she went into the Horse and Groom pub to make a call to the Irish Bar Owners Association in Malaga before she vanished. She was updating them on her financial situation after asking her family to put money into the bar. Despite her family members declining to help her, Bernadette told the association, "I've got the money." This was the last time Bernadette would be heard from, and for years investigators hoped she had gone back to Spain or had simply run away. Her nephew Leon said he believes his most favourite aunt had her life taken and it should have never been treated as a missing persons case. He said, "Any proof of life has been exhausted. The more I discover, the darker this has become. It is definitely the case she has been murdered. We are trying to pin down who did it." He said after no one had heard from her in a year, one of her sisters flew out to Malaga. When they arrived, they found that her bar had been taken over by new owners, and Bernadette's belongings were left to gather dust. There has been no further movements in her case. Hang Tai Tran went missing when they were 28 years old from Thornton Heath on the 29th of May 2020. There has been no movement in the case. Jacqueline O'Loughlin went missing when she was 23 years old from Islington in London on the 30th of June 1985. Thomas Jerry Redmond went missing in Tooting, London in 1979. His parents, originally from Ireland, moved to the UK. He lived with his mum and siblings in Tooting in London, and his father was living across back in Ireland. He was a tattoo artist by trade and worked at Barry Levain Tattoo Studio in Earlsfield in London. His brother Darren said before he disappeared he had a few problems. He got into substances through his girlfriend. He tried to get her off substances but he couldn't. Then he had a breakdown. He then was sent to Ireland to live with his dad so he could fix his own problems. He found it too slow-paced and quiet and returned to the family home in London. Darren then said it was around this time that his brother started having flashbacks and became convinced people were after him. His sister Maggie was quoted saying, "He kept saying, 'They're coming to get me, they're coming to get me.' We thought he was talking about aliens or something. He really hadn't been himself. I thought he was going a bit mad." His brother Darren said that he recounts that his brother kept a black suitcase containing substances under his bed, which his mum handed over to a man that knocked on the door asking for it. He was last seen in the hallway of his family home by his sister Maggie in the summer of 1979. He was packing things into black bin bags and told Maggie he was going to see a friend in the country. That was the last confirmed sighting of him. A witness claimed to have seen him at Clapham Junction train station around the time he went missing. He was 25 years old when he went missing and 5'8". He's described as a white male with brown eyes, dark brown, collar-length wavy hair and a stocky build. He had tattooed arms and chest. On his left arm he had two birds, a rose, a horse head and the words Jerry and Darren. On his right arm an eagle, pirate and rose and the words Rob tattoo. Kathleen Andrews disappeared when she was 25 years old from Acton in London on the 1st of February 1994. Anthony Donnelly, also known as Tony, was living in London when he disappeared on the 11th of October 1995. He was 29 years old when he went missing and the second youngest of 7 siblings who grew up in Clare, Ireland. His younger sister, Dolores, has made plenty of appeals. She said, "We feel as a family he's no longer with us, but if we could find out what happened and give him a decent burial, we want to put his name on my parents' headstone. We're going to do that in a couple of years anyway, as he'll be 30 years missing. We're all getting older. I'm 55 now, and I'm the youngest." At the time that he disappeared, Tony had been living with his ex-partner and his boyfriend in an apartment in Camberwell, South London, and was working in the 5th floor bar in Harvey Nichols. He had come out as gay to his siblings, but not his parents. Dolores was with her brother before he disappeared. She said, "I was with him the Saturday night before he went missing on the Thursday. I met him in Leicester Square and we went to see the movie Braveheart, and I'll never forget it as long as I live. And then we went for dinner, a cheap and cheerful restaurant. The Thursday is when Tony was last seen by his flatmates, and by Sunday he was reported missing." Dolores said she found it strange that she got the call from them, as Tony was known to visit friends for the weekend. She said, "I got a call then from his flatmates saying, 'Dolores, we've been to the police station in Peckham. They said Tony's been declared missing.' I couldn't understand that. That Monday I left work early to go down to his flat and ask the guys what had happened, and they said they didn't know. He literally walked out the door without any of his belongings. It was like he was just going to get a newspaper. His passport, everything was left." When Tony's flat was searched, an envelope was found with £1,000 inside, which said, "Give this to Dolores," something she said was very unusual. James Harmon, known as Jimmy, was 30 years old when he went missing on the 24th of January 1998. He was a pub doorman and was last seen at 3 p.m. on that Saturday at his girlfriend's home in Romford in East London. He left a short time later after receiving a phone call on his mobile phone and told his girlfriend he had to go and see a friend in Raynham and would be back at 8 p.m. His Mercedes car was found in Bexley Gardens off Barley Lane near King's George Hospital. The police investigation was unable to establish his whereabouts and thought that he had his life taken. In 2008, a 45-year-old suspect was arrested in Dagenham before being released on bail, but nobody has ever been charged with his murder. Detectives offered a £20,000 reward for information leading to the prosecution of those responsible. The police said the investigation has focused on Jimmy Harmon's lifestyle, and in 1998 he was a well-known doorman at a number of East London clubs and pubs. There are very strong grounds for believing that he was murdered very soon after he disappeared on the 24th of January 1998. I know he was involved in criminal activity in East London, and I believe the key to this investigation is likely to come from within that criminal world or their associates. In the years, loyalties and alliances may have changed, and I would appeal to anyone with new information to come forward and speak to us. He was last seen wearing a blue Budweiser t-shirt, tracksuit bottoms and trainers. He worked as a mechanic and also part-time as a doorman at the Robin Hood Public House in Longbridge Road in Dagenham. He's described as white, 5'7", stocky, with short cropped brown hair. Philip Morrissey was 26 years old when he vanished from Earl's Court on the 8th of September 1999. Harry Pollett was 73 years old when he went missing from Sutton in London on the 1st of June 2020. There has been no further movement in his case. And that concludes our video today. As I said in the intro, if you have any information on any of these cases, all the contact details will be in the description. Obviously, some of these cases had little to no information and some had a lot more. There will definitely be multiple parts to this video. As we all know, lots of people go missing, but especially in the capital of London. If there are any other cities that you would like me to have a look at missing cases, I'm planning obviously to cover as many as possible in the UK. We started with Northwest, we've now gone to the capital. Again, I could do multiple videos on the Northwest and the capital, but please make any suggestions of cities or places you would like me to look at for missing person cases. As always, thank you so much for watching, and until next time.